Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode of Booked. I'm your host, Saffron Asteria, and I'm joined today by J.L. Engel. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm happy you're here. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I forgot to ask you.
Yeah, it's actually like JL. So my name is Jeremy.
Cool.
And so I just put it on there because that's my author title. And when I was getting ready to first do my first book, the first time, I asked people, I'm like, what would look better? Like, should I JL, which is my first and middle initial, and then or Jeremy? And they're like it was immediate. It was JL. You did some more authory, use that. And I'm like, oh, perfect. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, it is the authory thing to do, is to have your initials. I don't know. I think either would have worked, but maybe you could switch up a little bit in the future. Who knows? But
it's my name, and I'm one of those people where I'm like I'm proud of my name. It's your name is who you are. I scared my daughter's 7th grade science teacher because he thought it was okay to call her Natalie instead of Natalia, and she never corrected him because she was a polite child. Aww. And I changed the dynamic of the teachers conference very quickly when he continued to mispronounce her name even after I first oh, it's Natalia. I'm like, oh, well, we call her Natalie. I'm like, not any fucking more, you don't. So I in communication with people, because I was a corrections deputy before, it's one of the easiest ways to build rapport is to, especially if you meet somebody who has a name that's hard to pronounce. Like, hey, I'm Jeremy, and they're like, oh, hi, I'm pick something that's hard to pronounce. Can you help me pronounce that? Like, yeah. I might have a hard time saying that. Can I call you Mac or whatever instead, and they appreciate that because so that you don't disrespect them, because in a jail or prison setting, like, respect is high, whether you've earned it or not. And that's a way of getting in. And so I'm always like, if I don't know if you remember the Key and Peele skits, where the one substitute teacher was like Ron, and
yes, my husband quotes that all the time.
Like if I'd been like, oh yeah, Saffron, he'd mispronounce it on person, and you'd be like, that's not how you say my name. Like, you wouldn't want to talk to me for, like we'd be done. You know what I mean? Like it's like that.
Yeah.
That's where it's not funny.
I used to work with this lady who mispronounced my name and called me Saffron, which I thought was weird. But then she kept shortening it to Staffy, and I thought, well, I like dogs, so that's fine. But I don't tend to correct people. When I tell people my name, I say it's Saffron. But if it sounds like my name, I'll probably answer to it, because I don't like putting that pressure on people. But I get your point. Like, it is a respect thing. But I correct people for myself. Maybe that's what it is.
I correct people at work. There's a gentleman. He's from Peru, and his name is Elar. If you understand linguistics, pronunciation for Spanish, his name is Elar. Everyone calls him Elar, like he's like Eeyore from Pooh's Corner or something. And I'm like, is this like? I'm like, oh yeah, I got the van from Elar. I work for my local transit company, and they're like, Elar, and they're confused, and I'm like, yeah, Elar. He's like the only brown guy who works here.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like, and they're like, oh, Elar. And I'm like, no, that's not how you say his name. Well, that's not how he says it. I said, no, that's how he lets you say it. And I'm not going to let you say it. It pisses me off.
Well, at least you're there fighting for people.
Yeah.
So we already have a lot of people that have joined us today. Hello, everybody. So I'm just going to put them up on the screen. So we have Sarah, which we saw her lurking before.
Yeah,
she's often lurking in the bushes,
looming in the shadows there.
She is. We also have Tim McKay. Hello.
Tim's awesome. You gotta love Tim. Tim and his alter ego Steve.
Yes, I call him Uncle Tim because he's like internet uncle, not the creepy uncle, like good uncle.
Mark, what's up, buddy?
We've got Mark here as well. And we have Steve Stark.
There, the terror. My boy, what's up?
Thank you all so much for joining us today. And for everybody that's watching that isn't commenting, it's okay. a little bit creepy, but I'm glad you're here. So what we will do is basically I want to know more about you. I've read some of your written interviews before, and I'd love to know a bit more about your process and your plans for the future. And you also have a really awesome book coming out in April, which I'm very excited to talk about.
I just received this. This is the second one because I had to fix the margins. But I just got this in the mail.
Oh, that looks so sick. That looks so sick.
I mean, I couldn't be happier. The side, if I can get that up there so everybody can see it.
That's
and
so
cool. Jelena Gachik, Covered Book Designs on Instagram. She does Janelle's. She's done Eamon's books. The Veil. I think she did Puddle People for him too. She did. This is. We'll do. Can I hype Jelena here real quick because everyone knows the ladies of the dark in our writing community. I just got my physical copy.
Oh, that looks stunning.
This is also Jelena's work right here, and then of course this. I had to get this in my hands. I hate reading on the computer, but I'll do it for certain people, and she's one of them. Incredible. I'm looking forward to getting into Molly's book. I just finished her novella that she did. That I thank you, Molly, for the credit of helping you with the title. All I did was go like, "Hey, those words you put in that message right there sound really good." And I have a knack for titles, I think, but I mean, she killed it. I loved it. I have to write a review for it still, but. Yeah, What Comes Before, I've got that one over on the table. So, but yeah, Jelena has done those. She did A Dangerous Man also, which,
She did. That looks so sick.
Right, I love
her cover so much.
She took my concepts and she blended them, like elevated them. I used to draw a lot, like, so I'm fairly artistic and maybe autistic too, but she took them and both books, both covers. She's like, this is really challenging. And for A Dangerous Man, she reached out to a friend who's an illustrator, and she sent me a couple things. She sent me a couple images. He drew up and God bless him for trying, that were just no. And she recognized it immediately, and she said so in her email. And she goes, and in the follow-up email to that, she's like, so here's where I went, because I had the character design. I designed him, and then I had that created and forwarded that to her. And I made a mock-up using my phone gallery apps and stuff.
Yeah.
And because I'm an Android degenerate, and so I made something to project kind of the imagery that I was looking for. And she's like, it was really cute because she's Serbian. I didn't know that when I first started working with her. And so there's a little bit of a language barrier there. And she does fantastic though. And her reply was, so I took those. I was like, those are not good. This is not good enough for you. And then I came up with this, and it was the baseline of A Dangerous Man, which did not go through very many iterations after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, literally like the emoji, my cat blew off. And I was just like, how did we go from, I don't know how to do this to like, I'm just going to rip your heart out and give it a kiss. Like, it was amazing. And then, for Where the Children Don't Play, my next release, April 30th, pre-orders are out.
They are
out. I drew up. I had the time, so I made up my own design. I was like, I'll get the pencil and eraser back out, and I had a very specific that angle. Like I wanted that. Like there was just something about it, and so I was like, I couldn't find anything initially. And so here I am, like I'll use the camera as the camera I was holding. So here I am, like trying to like take picture so that I could get like my fingers, situated, like I'm trying to play Spider-Man, and it helped to a degree. So I drew up a mock-up cover, and then I worked on it on the computer for a while. I think like 36 hours I clocked it at to make like get a book cover made.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit closer to what could actually be created. And I took all the things that I found for inspiration, and when I was ready to contact her, and then she knocked it out of the park. She's like, this is going to be challenging, but I'm up for it. And cool. And the first image she sent me was inaccurate but terrifying. Like it was like, holy crap, like that's worse than kind of what I made on my like what I made. And then she basically nailed it like right after that,
That's
and
so cool.
there was like maybe 4 or 5 iterations just to lock in some certain details and things. But I mean, she's incredible. So like,
yes,
I can't say enough good things about her.
I mean, her work kind of speaks for itself as well, because I feel like she has this style that you can recognize. Like when I saw A Dangerous Man, like the recover, I was like, I know who that is, because she's got this like touch that she has on her work, and it just looks so polished and awesome. We also have Blake, who has joined us. Hello.
Hey, Blake.
So yeah, when I saw this cover, it's perfect.
Yeah, I like if it got made into a movie, that's going into the negotiations. They're not changing it, like unless they use the reality of the actors or something like that. Like it's going. It has to be that. It's nothing else.
Yes, it is. It would make a really cool poster on its own as well, like without being a movie. That would look. But actually, both book covers would make an awesome poster. So if I ask you something and you don't want to answer it, just tell me, okay? But
if you ask me a question, there's a good chance. Just make sure you want to know it.
I do want to. Yes, I'm not going to ask anything weird. But so A Dangerous Man was originally published in 2021, and I have like the OG behind me here.
Yeah, thank you.
And you obviously made quite a big decision in re-releasing it. So what was that journey like for you? What was the purpose behind it?
It was tumultuous, to say the least. I wrote this somewhere between time goes by so fast anymore. Like I think back and I'm like, wait, was it 2016 I started or 2017? Somewhere between 2016 and 2018 anymore. I started writing it, and just getting it done was like a 15, 16 year journey as it was, because I'm a father. I have a daughter. She's now 22. She was somewhere in the realm of 2, 3, 4 years old. And for many years, we lived at my father's house. Excuse me. And he watched the news every night before bed, 11:30 o'clock, 11 o'clock news. And it just hit me like after a period of time, like there was just so many crimes against kids, like kidnappings, or like, even like, some deranged father, kidnapping and then murder, suicide. And I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And it just seemed to be like one of those things where it was like you're supposed to see this for some reason, and like I didn't have an outlet so much to speak of at the time. I hadn't written for quite a while, and so I just started jotting down ideas, because I'm like, even though I work in law enforcement at the time, when I was started as a corrections deputy in 2006. It's like, it's not like that's not a license, to go, pedophile hunting, really. And so, because I had to deal with enough of them as it was, and act professional and whatnot. But the idea came into my head, and I grew up in the era, 80s, 90s. We had our one-man army action movies and things like that, and the books, and I grew up reading some of the books, like Remo Williams, like the Destroyer books. My grandfather had introduced me to Conan. You know, you look at these guys who are capable of incredible feats, and so I was like, that was my inspiration. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Rambo, Commando, all those movies. Movies eventually became more of an influence than books, but I read quite a bit when I was younger, and when I started writing in the 6th grade, it led to one thing led to another afterwards. I used to write poetry and songs with a friend of mine before school in 7th grade. He was in a band, and we just meet up and we'd have like our own little like writing session before school started, and meet up in the hallway and like in one of the teacher like classroom door nooks, and like we'd start like bouncing ideas off each other like an hour before like class started.
Well, it's so awesome.
And we'd write some songs for him. We'd write poems. We'd write down story ideas, and we always had this bet. And ironically, is like, well, not ironically, but kind of funnily enough, his name is Jeremiah. And so both creative, both like we just played off each other. We were friends since like I don't know, kindergarten, 1st grade, something like that. And so, but I don't remember if he said it or if I said it. He's like, I bet I'll become a famous musician before you become a famous author. And I'm like, bet. And so neither one of us are famous. I'm not sure he's still playing anymore, but he's still an incredible musician. But anyways, fast forwarding to, I had a number of ideas for this. I'd write something down, I'd take notes, I'd do some research, and the research like shocked me at first. It was I was young, and it was like, this cannot, like, how is this happening today? And so put it aside for a little bit, and I wound up starting writing something else that I'll eventually go back to. I never finished. But it, like, going down that trafficking rabbit hole leads to some very, very dark places, and it's spider webs, to say the least. And I asked a lot of questions of myself and of the topics, and it led to a lot of ways. And, like we talked about before we got on here, is like, it's like the world is catching up to the things that I already learned about years ago. And so it was like, it angered me severely. It's like, but you're helpless. Like, what do you do outside of being a vigilante? I'm like, well, where can you get away with it? Like, well, I can get away with it in fiction.
Yes.
As an outlet. I'd stopped writing for years when I was competing in kickboxing when I was younger. And then, cause that was just all I worked. If I wasn't in school doing schoolwork, I was training. And then after that, if I wasn't training, I was working, and vice, and it was just a cycle. So I didn't give myself time to write, but that led to other things, especially when I eventually moved into law enforcement and was a defensive tactics instructor for the agency, teaching the people I worked with restraint tactics and control tactics and things like that, and how to defend themselves. And I've taken a number of courses over the years. So I just like, well, I can put all that to use in fiction. And I have actually a shorter version of A Dangerous Man that eventually I'll put out. I want to put out a short story novella anthology, kind of a book of some adventures with him. He initially started out started out as just the man. He had no name the entire time. And so one thing led to another. I purchased the master class by James Patterson on their website, and I went through that. And eventually they had a co-author contest with James Patterson. James Patterson is one of my favorite authors. And I'd read a lot of the Cross books growing up. And so I was like, oh, that would be so awesome to work with, Now, like he's the reason I outline now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that became about because of the contest. The first phase was entering, basically sending them a premise. And then if you made it to the second round, you had to submit an outline for your book. And in his course, he gave an example of how he outlines. It was an outline that he never shared with anybody other than him and his agent, perhaps. And maybe the publisher, because that's how they'd sell their idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, like, and it broke it down pretty, it was pretty simple, and it's just a paragraph or so of what a summary of the chapter and the arc of the story and things like that. And I was like, okay, if I have to do that, then I'm like that'll be the tough part.
Yeah.
Before I could just sit down and I could write, and I would write without, I would pants it basically.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that became over the years was that I would start a whole bunch of things and then I'd like squirrel into something new.
I don't know what that's like at all.
Yeah, and so it's like I have all these things that are unfinished that I would absolutely love to finish at some point in time, but I'll see what I get to eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started preparing for the second round because I'm like, I'm going to need more time because it was only like a week in between submission periods. So once they announced second round, you only had a week to submit your outline. And I think it was probably like because there was a month for the first time, the initial people just to sift through to see who was going to go forward and all that. And like, I better get a jump on this. So I started working on it, and eventually, like, before the announcement came for the second round, I already knew I wasn't going to make it because I don't have a similar writing style to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was thinking like that has to be part of it. Like, they're going to read the way I wrote this and they're going to think, maybe whether he liked it or not, like, is besides the point, because he also talked about how he co-authors, which is essentially if you and I were going to co-author a book, and let's say I'm James and you're my co-author, I'm going to send you my outline and give you the first 10 chapters, some notes on characters and things like that. And you're going to write it. When you get done, you send it to me. I go over it. I make some corrections, things here and there, make this, that, whatever, clean it up a little bit, say, hey, go through this. Here's some notes. You basically edit those 10 chapters, send them back. Yep. Read this again. This is what we want moving forward. Keep this, right? Here's the next 10 chapters. And we do it again. So he explains that in his course. So I'm not talking shit about the great James Patterson. That's just how he explained his co-authoring. And so I was like, okay, so it doesn't matter if I have a good idea or not. We probably won't even use it. But just to write one with him. But I was like, my writing style and his are so different.
Yeah.
So I figured, like, I'm not going to get it. Then and I didn't.
Oh. Okay.
Not spoiler alert. And then so I was like, I had the outline, so I was like, I'll finish it. I started it, I'll finish it. And then when I finished it, I was like, well, might as well start writing the book. And so that's when that came up. And so that became my process, was figuring out the storyline through an outline, and then I'll jump right into it after that. And by then, I'm probably super jazzed about where I'm at, because I think a lot of people, I don't like to say something so definitive, like every writer does this, but I think it's probably pretty common where you get to a certain point and you're like, I can't wait to write this scene. And at the time, and even still, I have a group of people who will read as I write. So I'll write a chapter. So my process after that, when I start writing, is I'll actually read a chapter, and I will, I don't know, break any number of pick an author's rules or whatever. It's like, I will read it and then I'll edit it. Like, I'll give it a quick cleanup, and then I'll send it to like 4, 5, 6 people that will, if they want to read along while I'm going. Because sometimes, like, I won't write every day, depending on the schedule. I did for Where the Children Don't Play because I had a particular deadline. Yeah. I was working with someone else at the time. So it was like at least a chapter a day. For that one, it was chapters were 2,000 words or less, between 1,500 and 2,000. So they moved quick. And for me, that was restrictive, because I can be wordy, and I'm aware of that. And and I've had it, critiqued and stuff in those ways. Like A Dangerous Man, I could probably cut that down quite a bit. I was reading it before I was getting ready to re-release it, and I'm like, oh, if I keep doing this, like I'm gonna have to rewrite this whole damn thing. So I just found certain things people had pointed out to me that were maybe needed an edit over or something like that for sure. Because my writing styles changed a lot. It's each thing I've written. And so then when I finished A Dangerous Man, I queried agents and publishers for like 18 months plus.
Okay.
And then out of the blue, Olympia Publishers, who took them, they're a vanity / hybrid publisher. And I suddenly had this email that said, we'd like to work with you and publish your book. And I'd heard about that kind of thing at the time. And I don't recommend it. I don't recommend
that a lot.
them either. And I'll leave it at that because everything else I'll say is probably going to be nasty.
Okay.
Did not end that relationship on a high note.
Okay.
There were some great people that worked there though. And they're based in London too. So I was like, I got to work with, some English people. I never got to talk to anybody except for when I was pissed off one time and literally looked up the number and called their office. But it was around COVID. And so like one dude was the receptionist and I talked to him for like 5 minutes and it jacked my phone bill up $50.
Yep.
And didn't really get anywhere. So that was, that happened. But 2021 was supposed to be to 2026 was the contract. And last year, about May or so, they just emailed me and said, hey, we everybody did the best they could and all these things and took for granted, basically that, I was like, I spent thousands of dollars in promotions and marketing and finding reviews and things like that. And they gave me one reviewer the entire time. In
like 4 years.
Yeah. It was just a dude on Instagram. It was like, I already had a dozen of those because they come out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Once. I could have got you that for free.
I mean, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been posting more obviously now with the book and everything like that. And they're coming out of they're coming out of the woodwork again. I'm getting, luckily Instagram hides those messages if you're not following them and stuff.
Yeah.
But messages show up and all those things. And they're all, pay to play things, which, they're not all bad. They're not totally bad either. Because I've had some reviews from them that I think were actually really helpful. I believe my final count in the first run for Dangerous Man was the sales were somewhere around 600 worldwide too.
That's really good.
Honestly say, yeah. The Indian market was, I think, huge. There was a number.
Really?
It surprised me. I had a number of Indian author or reviewers contact me, and I'm like, man, this sounds sketchy. I'm like, well, it's like $20, so like whatever, and it's through PayPal. So what are they going to do? And then next thing I know, like over I think about 3 years, things really started slowing down. I had a count of upwards of 600 sales, which, is nothing to be mad about by any means, because the average is like maybe 100 to 250, I think, for a new author. So sometimes if you can sell 10, you should feel good about it, Yeah. But they gave me the rights back last year, to make the long story a little bit longer. And I was like, okay, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna do this my way because I'd also in 2022 I left working in corrections.
Okay.
I took some time off, and in the interim after Dangerous Man, I wrote another book that I'm going to be releasing next called The Dock. It's another crime thriller. Tim has edited it for me. And it just gives you more reasons to love Tim, and because Tim is awesome. He got it. Like I told him, like I wrote it in a very specific way for the character, and he got it. And his notes are awesome. Very helpful. So I'm going to be really digging into that here next.
Cool.
But it's a chunky book, to say the least.
Another?
Yeah. I did not mean to do this. I honestly, like, these 400 plus page books were not my. I'm like, if I get them like 253, and then I was like, but you have to service the story, and the story was a lot bigger than what I anticipated. So I created an anomaly, unbeknownst to myself, where A Dangerous Man was originally 436 pages. It originally increased to 448 pages through Olympia Publishers after their formatting and stuff. Then when I re-released it and I formatted it myself, and David Batterina he tried helping me with it and using vellum.
Yeah.
And the I don't know what you call them, themes or whatever you choose to format them on there, whatever, like jumped it up to like 500 pages. And I was like, oh, dude, we can't do that. I was like, I'm figuring some stuff out too. And he's an awesome guy. He was super helpful. I tried using Atticus.
Yeah, that's the other bigger one.
Where the Children Don't Play. And I have it. I can use it anytime now I want, but fuck those guys. That's just as retarded. I hate it. I can't figure it out.
Okay.
And I couldn't find. When I was trying to format Where the Children Don't Play, like I just didn't have the patience. And then I found a YouTube video showing you how to format on Word. And so I did that instead, and it actually worked out way better because it's not in another program, and I'm not restricted by anything, and it's like a 36-minute video of the ins and outs. And then I had to do some troubleshooting and everything, but it was fun because I learned I learned more about using Word. And so now when I write next, I can just knock it out a lot easier. But the page count was one thing I worried about. So when I wrote the doc, I didn't understand that there is a publishing world standard of the word counts what matter, not the page count. As far as like your documents go, right? And a professional editor I was working with at the time, after I resigned from the jail, I kind of got into a development thing with him. And one of the things I learned later on down the road after some challenges was that the doc was 397 pages long. And I'm like, I was just happy that it was shorter than the doc. And if I just using the Olympia publisher format, my guesstimation was like, okay, it might increase 10 pages. Big deal. Yeah. Right. It's not going to be the case. So it's 180,000 words.
Wow.
Yeah. And which to me was like, whatever. I was like, and then I look at A Dangerous Man, and it was 436 in Word, and it's 160,000 words.
Okay.
And so somehow I wrote 20,000 words more with the doc, and 42 pages less, or something like that.
Interesting.
Nobody can tell me how I did that.
Shorter or longer words is what I would imagine.
I mean, it has to be something in there. So there's a lot of them. But Tim helped me. Tim edited that, so I'll be going over that, and I'll be looking at pushing that out this fall.
Awesome.
So
very cool. So this is like the doc is like a mafia thriller, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's about a guy. He's a fixer for the mob in New Orleans, and there's the son of the mob boss comes back, and they don't get along no more because of something that he done to the main characters, somebody that he loves, and it's I have there's couple handfuls of people who've read it,
Mhm.
and I'll get messages periodically like, when's the doc coming out? And then it'll be a little more aggressive. Okay, I see your next book is scheduled. When the fuck am I gonna buy the doc? Come on, like, and I'm like, just it's coming. Like, I gotta, I'm figuring it out. Like, there's some things that have to be done first. I gotta make it look good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look at covers. Like, I'll have to, figure out what I'm gonna do with covers, and there's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And the way I'm gonna do it too, I have an idea for that, and because that's gonna be over. It'll be over 500 pages.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was one of the concerns the editor that I was working with before had said is like, this book is thick. It's like a 550 page book, which is kind of ridiculous. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve. And so Tim is aware because I asked him for his help. I asked his opinion on this matter. And so I got, because I don't think anybody really knows how much Tim is doing.
He does so much.
It's insane. Like I haven't read like the minute fraction amount of words as he has just in like the last month, over the last few years. You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing some big things. And he's so helpful and knowledgeable. And so I was like, I asked him, and then I'd asked David Batterino because they're both in that area where like they're doing things you don't see behind the scenes, and they got some experience and knowledge. And so in a sense, I look to them for like for some approval for the way I'm going to do the doc next. And so I have to figure that out first before I really get into like parsing it out there into the world. But I'm excited for it because Otis, who's the main character, is already has a fan club of some very ravenous women. And and it's like, where's Otis? Like, I want to read Otis. Like, I have a friend of mine. Sometimes she goes, so any closer to the doc? And I'm like, just hold on, love, and I'll put from Otis. Like, it's like he's coming, and he's a bad motherfucker. I'll tell you that. And
that seems to be a theme.
You. Yeah, he's a different one though. He's definitely a different one. You get to see a side of a character that is not so much in. I mean, he's different from Mason, who's in the main character of Where the Children Don't Play.
Yeah.
The history, just the playing, building that world out and everything, and the things he does. And the reason he does them like is like part of what I build my style on. It's not like I probably won't write every single book the same way the last one got written.
Okay.
So my styles I've noticed have changed as I've been told that as my writing's been improved. I have a friend, she's like a muse to me. So I worked with her at the jail when I first started writing again. It was partially this is all her fault.
Blaming her, that's fine.
Her name is Julie. Thank you, Julie. And she has everything I've written since then. If it's a partial story, she has it. She keeps everything. I have my own safe at her house, she said, with all my work in it. I'll send her the stories. She'll print them off and she'll put them in fireproof, floodproof safe. And so
info.
She's read Where the Children Don't Play. She's one of the people who read it right after I got finished with it. And she's like, the doc is still my favorite.
Interesting.
And so it's that the doc has to be next, and it will be next, and I'll introduce the world to Otis. And I'm very excited for that.
It sounds like you're probably just going to get a lot of threats if you don't.
So there's a sequence in that movie, or not movie.
Maybe one day it'll be a movie.
Maybe one day, because like a lot of writers in my head, like I just hit pause when I need to stop writing, and then I just push play when I'm ready to get back on the keyboard when I'm in the zone. There's a sequence in that book where my friend Carrie, we've talked a lot online about books for men, and whatnot, but I mean, and I agree. I agree with the argument to the degree, but women will read anything.
I will,
like
for sure.
I mean, after meeting Janelle and Molly, particularly, like you read some of the things, you're like, okay. My friend Nicole, who my NJ Gervasi is what she goes by. She did the same author thing I did. You will see me like posting about her book when she's also going to re-release her book. She's in an Olympia publisher survivor like myself. That's how I met her. She actually bought A Dangerous Man because I think she saw that we were published to the same people and maybe liked it, and then just randomly posted and tagged me in a review. We hadn't even like followed each other at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at my, okay, well, who's this? What is it? Okay, she's got a book. Oh, she's through Olympia's. Okay, cool. I'm like, that's a cool story. Like it's an insane storyline she has, and I can't wait to hype her up because if you're paying attention to anything going on in the world, she wrote this thing 10 years ago, and she's done some updates to it that I'm going to be getting into here soon. That she sent me. It is prophetic.
Oh dear.
It's insane.
Okay.
And it's so good. It's so fucking good. And then again, I'm like, damn, a woman wrote this? Like this like one scene was like just like really violent. But
we are cool people.
Yeah.
Like, women are capable of doing very, very, very cool, awesome things.
But well, you see too over the years, be like, oh, it was like, well, who's going to bed, watching serial killer documentaries before they go to sleep? And it's like, well, it's women. Women are like guys. You got to just accept that you should be willing and open to having a big female fan base because I mean, 90% of the people that have either commented or read ahead of time reviewed my books, they've all been female.
Yeah, there you go.
And and I wouldn't think that looking at the content of what I wrote initially, like outright, you'd be like, oh, well, I'm writing a thriller for guys because it's got a main character, this and that. But I like to round the characters out to a degree, and just to be, it's like lets more people kind of feel like they understand the story. But no, women eat, like when you're peeling skin off someone and they're screaming for their lives and you're telling them it's a lullaby for them to go to sleep to, they're just eating it up.
I love it. But the thing is that although, we've kind of said on a more surfacey level that you write very badass characters and, there's a lot of violence and things like that, you do tackle some really like difficult and interesting themes in your work. So of your two books, they both contain basically kids in danger, and that is something that is interesting to a lot of people because they want to see the justice. They want to see these things being talked about, because if we don't talk about them, then they start to disappear from conversation and then people can get away with stuff. But if it keeps being on the forefront of people's conversation, then those things don't go away. They're never going to go away, so we need to keep talking about them. And like A Dangerous Man, that tackles, obviously, as you've said, like modern day slavery, and that affects everybody basically, and it is an incredibly profitable and prolific there's a word for it, industry, obviously not a legitimate one. And then you've got Where the Children Don't Play. I mean, you've got this really cool cover with like a lady in the background and a hand, and you're like, okay, what's all that about? Okay, I see spider webs and stuff, and it's really cool. And there's some like fantasy elements to it I did not expect, and there's some cool like I'm going to try not to say too much because I don't want to give it away, because I went into reading this obviously before it was published. I don't know how much you've changed it, if at all, since I read it, but
nope. You got the full version. The only thing that I've done different with the book is because Nicole was able to get a copy and read it, I got a blurb from her that I added. That's about it. Story is all the same. So
but that tackles so many different things. Like there's like basically child predators in it, so that's kind of like a theme that's running across. And you've also got like difficult subjects like dealing with PTSD and just a bunch of like really delicate, interesting psychological things in there. But you've also put like a really cool story behind it where it's like rooted in myth, fiction, but actually it's kind of a reality in a way. I mean, hopefully not too much of a reality, because I hate spiders.
You and me both, because I don't want that to become true.
No, don't like it. But it was a fantastic story. I really, really enjoyed it. And again, like I've said this time and time again on this show, I don't like long books that much. Like I don't really read long books, but I finished both of yours because I love them so much, and they were so interesting, and like they don't really let up. There's not a lot of there's not much of a lull in what's happening. Like you do little moments where people are interacting with each other and stuff, but then there's like more exciting things to get hold of and enjoy, and you keep the pacing really like interesting and engaging, which I appreciate from a longer book. I don't want to spend 3 chapters learning about stuff if there's nothing happening. But I do agree with that. Yeah.
Neither, I don't want to write it either, you know, and the themes, like in my acknowledgments, I admit that like this book was brand new. I never was meant to write this originally. Like it wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
The doc was looked at, and because I was working with someone to help me with going traditional and whatnot, and that was the point of working with them. And then the doc was like, "Look, dude, like no one's gonna publish a 500+ page book as somebody nobody knows. Like it's a money game, it's a business." And I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "Well, how about I just write something different?" And so I threw out some ideas, and he picked this one, and initially it was kind of funny. It's like, because I'm like, "Oh, that's not a terrible idea," you know. Like I could make that work, but that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking this, like the elements of this, the creatures, and where, you know, was the premise of finding out something was going on in this town, this dark past. And he was like thinking that it was like, well, in the caves had a system, and it led to like some people who were basically, it leads to what's in the resolution at the end of it, the explanation. Because I won't throw it out there, because I was like, well, I can put that to work. And so how things resolve came out, like his idea kind of influenced that. But I was like, no, I'm like, there's going to be monsters. This is like a supernatural thriller. This is not like, you know, and I hadn't read or seen anything at the time that really influenced it. I don't even remember what spawned the idea. And I wrote some things out for me. He kind of gave me some assignments, and he looked at me and said, "Yeah, man." He goes, "Okay, well, let's start working on this, and we'll develop this. This looks like you got something different here." I was like, "Okay, cool." And so that's how that got started, and the themes of it, just, I don't know, between that and The Dangerous Man, those are the elements that I think help ground it, so people can relate to. You know, it's like I go, Ghost even was like, well, how do you relate to somebody who's essentially a super agent? Like he's a super, you know, was like he's capable of things that no one else can do. And he's huge and skilled and smart, and you know, and he's taking on this army of people and coming out like not unscathed, but ready to rock and roll and move on to the next target. And he has an agenda, and how do we relate to that, other than just like, you know, it was like, oh, Rambo's awesome. you know, I mean, so not just as a father, because I'm a very protective person just in general. Like you can times that by affinity when it comes to being a parent. It's like, how do you relate to him? Like what I was thinking was like, so I tried to write it. My intention to writing him was to be so that any parent could relate to how he's feeling, you know, not just as a father, but it opened the door a little wider, I thought.
Yeah.
And so, and then with the psychological themes that are in there, I mean, God, if you've experienced grief, do you not know what that, you know, can you not relate? And then just a lot of it was just trying to be empathetic and writing it in a way where it kind of reached into your chest just a little bit and dug around.
Yeah.
And I have any number of reactions that I've gotten, be like, "Oh, I'm reading chapter such and such, and I'm crying. Thanks a lot." Like, you know, I'm like, "Well, you're welcome. That's the intention."
Yeah.
Or anger. Anger has been a big one.
I'm not surprised.
There's a scene you could probably think of in A Dangerous Man. So I mentioned my friend Carrie earlier, and I think I went on a stupid tangent. Carrie read A Dangerous Man, and then when she also read the doc, two of probably my most favorite reactions I'll ever get of anything. She read one scene in A Dangerous Man, and we worked together. She worked in the reception area at the jail when I was there, and I was working night shift at the time. And I get a phone call. I was running the control room, and she's like, "Hey, when you get a break, come up here and talk to me." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Did I not do the warrant thing I just did like an hour ago correctly?" She says, "Has nothing to do with work. I want to talk to you face to face." Okay, cool. Fired the redhead up, and so I get a break. And I go up there. I'm like, "What are you so hot about?" And it's about this scene in A Dangerous Man that upset her. She's like, she was so mad that she stopped reading it for a number of days. I think it was like 3 days she stopped reading. She's like, I wasn't gonna I didn't want to read. I didn't want to keep reading it. I was so pissed that you did that. And I was like, "Oh, well." She goes, "But then I did." And I'm like, "Oh God, at least these guys died terribly." You know, it's like, because like she's like the whole point of, and she knows me personally. So she's like, "Well, I know the justice is gonna be serviceable." So she's like, I gotta find out what it was. She's like, that drew her back in. And so and then in the doc, the scene I was talking about earlier, there's a scene in that book. I get a message one night that just says, and I think I've posted it before, where it says, "You sick motherfucker. What the fuck is wrong with you? How could you fucking like," and this is not an elaboration because I'll throw in F words every once in a while when I'm like quoting somebody, and they might be full. This is more for like my own emphasis. But she literally was not happy. She was angry with me. I can't believe you fucking did that. Like, who comes up with this shit? Like how could you? Like, it was like she was just torn apart. And then I'm like, well, just keep reading. Like, just like the other book, it's gonna, they're gonna get what they deserve eventually, hopefully, like try not to give anything away. And I'm like, just like, thank you for that. That makes me feel fantastic that you had that reaction, and getting that reaction as an author from the audience and whatever it is, like what, I know you're invested. I know I did my job. And so
absolutely, yeah, that's kind of like, you don't want people to read your book and go, "That was nice." You want them to read it and actually feel something, because then you've done, your job as a storyteller is to make people feel something. It doesn't even have to be like a huge thing. Like, they can relate to it, they can empathize, or they go, "Oh, maybe I need to think about life differently," or whatever the thing is. I've missed a bunch of comments. I'm so sorry. I've
been talking a whole lot. It's like I'm supposed to be like speaking on here or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I kind of glance at the chat sometimes, but I want to listen to what people are saying.
I don't have it up,
but so we have another person that joined us a little while ago. If you're still here, hello. I'm so sorry I missed you.
Thank you.
And John Davis. Davies? Davis.
Is Davies on there? Oh, he's made it. What's up, brother?
And again, if you're still here, then hello. If you're not, then hello still anyway. Thank you for joining us at some point. We have a couple of questions here as well. So we have Stephanie here, who has asked, if you're on a desert island, what 3 books do you want to have with you?
Oh, well, the first one's easiest for me is my favorite book of all time is The Fifth Profession by David Moreau.
Okay.
That's hands down. He's one of my favorite authors. My favorite author. He's of course responsible for Rambo and whatnot. But that book right there is a hidden gem. It blew my mind of like you can do this with fiction. Like it was a mind fuck at first. Like I was too young when I first started trying to read that book, and not because of it was just wrapping my head around like keeping up with the story.
Yeah,
because it is psychological deeply, and it did a fantastic job. But oh man, I think I'm taking Space Pew Pew because David.
Much fun.
Fuck, like David. I've never read a book. I've never read a lot of comedies, to be honest with you. Like as far as novels go, but he and I match up so well with, and he does the humor so well.
He really does.
And if you've read that, I can't say enough good things about that book. I read it twice, back to back.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like because I loved like the cultural aspects of it too that he integrates in there. Like he'll tell you like he's writing absurd comedy, but I view comedy as like comedy. You have to be. I'm almost like I think it like there's a pinnacle of intelligence you have to be at in order to figure out multiple avenues in order to make people laugh.
Yeah.
To make your bits come off. And I've seen interviews with comedians where I remember them kind of talking about something similar like that, because I can say funny stuff on occasion, but I'd never tell anybody I'm a comedian and I don't know the craft. But he pulled it off so well. That was my favorite book of that year. I think it was the end of 2024 when I read it when it came out. And then he sent me the re-release that he did. And the third book, it's a lot to. When I write it, I'll take the doc with me because it's probably my favorite one that I've written so far.
That's nice.
I'll keep myself close. I don't want to be arrogant, but it's a good story. I have another one coming out later on that I'm really excited for. It's going to be an adaptation of a screenplay that I wrote with my brother.
Oh, cool.
And my brother, Steven. And from an idea he had when we worked together at the jail. And we went through the loops with screenplays and things like that. We were in a development program with a media company that went really well. We didn't sell it, which doesn't mean a whole lot. We got a lot of eyes on it and got a lot of great compliments for cool. First time writing a script. Taught myself how to write a script so I could put our story together. And then we started working on it and got a lot of great feedback on it. And it's a solid story. And I will not write an ending to anything, I think, ever again that will be as satisfying as that one.
Oh, that's a big promise.
It is. It's hefty. I'm 15 chapters into adapting it from the screenplay, and I'm doing it for obviously there's the novel aspect to adapting it, but it's the screenplay. I'm not changing the story or anything like that so much. There's some things I'll probably add a little bit for character depth, but
yeah, for sure.
And it'll probably be chunky. But
that's okay. That's your vibe.
It's got all the staples of what I like to write with. It's dark. There's a little bit of comedy to a degree, like when people meet Rowdy in this next book and Where the Children Don't Play. I think he balances things really well. Yeah. And so there's a character similar to that. There's a similar aspect of that in the character in this one, but it's basically like it's another vigilante. I love revenge thrillers. I can't help it. But this was Steven's idea initially, so it's his fault. But we also, he and I mesh so well in the stories that we like, and the movies that we like, because like I said, movies have probably inspired me a little bit more over the years than books have, because I hadn't read for quite a long time. And it's got a kind of I know Dave Buzan has read it, because Dave used to work in screenplays and stuff, and he's fantastic. He's so knowledgeable and experienced and just friendly. He's another one of my favorites. He read it and he gave me a couple of things on it because of his experience, but he was like, this is like Sicario meets the Expendables kind of a thing. And it's a more serious tone, and there's some similarities to Sicario, because I love that movie. And so does Steven. So we had some influence in writing it, that there's the vibe is there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm looking forward to writing that one. because the ending of that one, like I almost have to like just forget what it is when I bring it up, because it's deep and it's touching and it's emotional. Like it hits me immediately. Like I just want to, like it's all right here. And so, and I hope that comes through, because I want people to see it on screen one day and just be like, when the credits roll, fuck yeah, like it all came around. It's like because it's gonna be a tough one, to go after. But so I'm gonna write it. I'm writing it, and it's gonna come out as a novel, unless we wind up getting a sale of it sometime before then, and then I can negotiate that, or we can negotiate that for us. But yeah, those 3 books, I take those 3 books on a desert island, and they're all pretty thick, so it'll take me a while to read them. Give me something to do, because I'm not a fast reader.
Excellent. I think they're good choices. So if you're trapped on a desert island, then at least you also have enough to even make a shelter, because they are very thick.
I mean, I can just stare at the ceiling.
Exactly. So we have a question from Steve here. So it's a question for both of us. So if you were to embark on a mission of vigilante vengeance, which authors would you pick to join you on your mission? You can go ahead.
How is there an amount, Steve?
Oh, I'd say limitless, but maybe pick like top 3 or something.
Ooh. Do you want to go first? Because this one might take me some sifting. I don't know. Like, that's a good question.
It is a really good question. I wish we'd have like come to this earlier and then thought about it and then come back to it. I mean, you have like a background in is it kickboxing?
Well, kickboxing, and I have some firearms training and defense.
Great.
I mean, I had restraints. Like I know how to. I'm also I'll be starting teaching a women's self-defense course again next month.
That's cool.
I trained my officers and everybody that I worked with for years. I've been through a number of courses. I don't ever pretend to say like I'm an expert. There's a lot I still need to learn and perform and train and do better at. But I'm no slouch either. So, but
okay.
Let's go with that A team number of 4. Okay. Well, I think, well, obviously, I'm not going to count me. I'm going to pick 4 people.
Okay.
I'm picking Steve.
Good choice.
Because I know Steve's got hands. Yeah.
He's also got background as being a bouncer as well.
Yeah. No. And I'm picking John.
Nice.
And I'm picking John because John's got a military background.
Excellent.
And muscle. So anyone who's not read Muscle. I'd also take David Batterina too, because David knows how to handle himself and has trained thousands of people.
Oh yeah, so, he's got martial arts background, doesn't he?
He's got the skill set. Like he can protect himself and protect others. And he might be our Deadpool of the group, I think.
That's exactly what he'd be.
Got some levity at a point in time. So there's 3, and then I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, just to make sure we have like we're dialed in. And I don't know this man, although I'm a big fan of him. I'm gonna say we're gonna like call in Jocko Willick, because he's a former Navy SEAL and combat veteran, and just a general calm-headed badass dude. And aside from David, 3 of us, we're all bald. So, I mean, with that, we all got that going on.
Well, we're going to call you the bald team. Maybe the B team, and the B stands for bald.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, it's he and I know he's. I mean, he wrote a book about his own stuff, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, like we'd have a lot of areas covered, and if nothing else, Jocko would know how to like tighten everything up in between.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then we got John. John's got his military experience and stuff. He could help, liaise on that.
He's still here, and he hasn't said no. So
yeah, I mean, so
yeah.
and I mean, truth be told, I mean, between the four of us and our countries, there's a lot of shit that needs to get sorted out. And I think we're all fairly patriotic, and we could, or I would even call in. I would even call in an extra, kind of like maybe just a I don't know what the word is I'm looking for here, but I would like to call in Richard. I just revert to calling him El Mexicano now because that's the way he signed his review. I was like, that's awesome because he's British and he also lives in Mexico. But his character Buchan, Steve knows. I'm having a brain fart here.
Okay.
Steve and John know who I'm talking about. Richard Nichols.
Okay.
I don't know if he's got any experience or anything like that, but I know for a fact we've had some conversations where we're like, there's a place in London that we would like to invade to help. He and I've talked about like what if our characters teamed up, what would they target? And he knows, Richard knows. Steve and John might be aware of it. I can't remember if they were in that conversation. It was in the comments of a post some time ago.
Yeah.
But, it would be a great help to the world if we sent Buchan and Ghost there to fix some things. Yeah, Richard Nichols. Yeah, El Mexicano. He'd be the Hannibal of the group. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Maybe he'd be like the Hannibal of the group. Like,
how funny.
And yeah. So yeah, those would be my boys.
Oh, I thought you meant Lecter. If I'm being honest, I thought,
I knew what you meant. Yeah,
that's hilarious. So I usually ask people. There's time.
We got to know who are you bringing?
Oh, who am I bringing? Okay, I would bring obviously you because I said that already. I would bring an author of the name Ian Sullivan. Because he's very experienced in judo, but he also loves superhero stuff, and I think he would be a good vigilante. Have I got to pick two more?
Well, it depends. If you go the route I did, I picked 4 on top of myself. So
yeah, I feel like I need some different skill set. Somebody maybe that's good with computers, because I'm not. Might have to be David. I'm not trying to copy you, but he knows his way around technology. He's given me some advice in the past.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I mean, he can cover a lot of bases.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up, Mike?
I've literally. Oh, hello, Mike Norman. How you doing? Yeah, I can't. I've literally forgotten everybody's names of all time. I found that very difficult. When people ask questions like that, I'm like, I don't know anyone. I've forgotten everybody's name. Who's an author? What's an author? I've never even read a book. That's what goes through my head.
The pressure is just presses it all the way out.
It does. But that's just part of being a human. It's not something that we are built to do. It's to do like instant recall is not normal. So I'm blaming it on that, and I'm going to move on. So we have talked about A Dangerous Man, and you've obviously re-released that at the end of 2025.
Yeah, November 25.
And then you have, obviously, as I have on the screen here, Where the Children Don't Play, which is an excellent book. They both are excellent books. I urge you to go read them. The pre-order is available at the moment, and it comes out on April 30th. So the link's in the description as well. So if you can't scan the QR code, that's not an excuse, because the link is in the description. Okay. So there are 2 questions I usually ask people before I end a show. This time has gone by so quickly. It just disappeared. How did that happen? I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. But The first question I'm going to ask you is, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I'd like to know like your full answer is, as a writer, what does success look like to you?
I saw you'd asked the people that before, and I had been thinking about it. And recently, because of a lot of different things I've been trying, success just looks like staying moving. Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of things I would like to do if I gained like some, especially like some momentum and then notoriety to even just make something happen. I'm a pay it forward kind of person.
Yeah,
I want to bring my friends with me to play. So one of the things I'm involved in is Robert Rodriguez started Brass Knuckle Films, and I'm like a low end investor into that studio.
Cool.
And he's had some competitions, but I'm going to take from what he like. It resonated a lot with me when I watched him say it. Was like he's like committing to a body of work, and letting that speak for you. Was like through the ups and downs and the failures and successes, he's like just committing to that and creating something solid. And so right now that's my focus. That's what success looks like for me, is building out that body of work and saying like, well, for 4 years you could only find A Dangerous Man, the version that you have on your shelf. And I'd written other things. I just hadn't been able. I'd kept trying to get them published or getting an agent or going the traditional route. And then on being on X, Dave Buzan, again, how great he is. He was one of the first people I talked to. And before he released his book, we have a lot of things we have in common and tastes and things like that. And so like he would show up in my algorithm a lot, and we'd chat in the comments or things like that. And then one day he asked me if I'd read an ARC of his book before he was working on getting it published. And I was like, man, you don't fucking know me. Like, why would you like? And I don't know if he'd even read my book at the time, but I was like, well, yeah, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do anything with your work. Because he actually sent me a Word document.
Oh, that was.
And I was like, that was brave. But I think I come across pretty genuine, and I'm not here to ruin anybody's life. I would even, if we would go back, I was like I know I'm not going to do anything, but don't trust anybody with that. Like, make sure I can't fuck with it, and make sure anybody else can. Thank you for the trust, Dave. And he's become a great ally and friend and everything like that. But I felt that in with him, and we've met. He actually lives just a few hours south of where I am here in Washington.
Cool.
And so we had lunch, and I hope we can do it again here sometime soon. But for me, that's what it looks like. And if my success builds beyond just building that body of work builds out, like then it's like I want to bring people to play with me, because like I want to say, you're looking like I've put out before too. I mean, people can attest to it. It's like, I've seen people asking for like horror stories and things like that. And I was like, well, you got to tag Steve, you got to tag Janelle, you got to tag Molly. These people have ideas. They're in that realm. Stuff like that. Nick Horvath too, with Sledge, like lifting people up like that, just being friendly, it's like, and he's got a lot of, I am not going to say anything, but he's got a lot of kick-ass shit going on with Sledge, and deserves it. Like, he's like, I told him in the beginning, he created a brand, and that started taking on, and then he started getting, and people were noticing him, obviously. And so he's just a kick-ass dude. He's cool. He's one of the boys. Like, he'd be another addition to the A team. He'd be like when we pull in, like when the Expendables brought Chuck Norris in. And when we're pinned down or something, and next thing you know, we'll have like giant sledgehammers flying all over the place and killing people. And I don't know, but he's he's got a lot of cool stuff going on, and you know, just people like who are just being cool. Like that's success. Like I'm successful. I actually did it. I wrote a book. I published a book multiple times. I'm doing it again, and I'm just going to keep doing it again.
That's dope.
You
I
know,
love that.
and the anything else, like I'm not looking for fame. I would love the money, just to create a better life and whatnot, and be able to do it full time, and or find a gig screenwriting full time would be awesome, because also going to be writing more screenplays this year too, with my brother. And so just moving forward, though, that's the success, is being able to do it, say you did it. I mean, I have contacts that I can lean on and get help with, like to look at things I'm doing. And so, I mean, that's, you know, it doesn't show, it doesn't have to show in my bank account.
Yeah.
But eventually one day it will. And when it does, like, I'm going to be, you know, bringing people with me who I know deserve it. And that's success.
That's awesome. I love that. So the final question that I will ask you today before we end the show is, if you could give Jeremy, who first started writing stuff all those years ago, any advice, what would you give them?
Oof. You know, that one's a difficult one to ask and to answer, because you have to think of all the things you've been through to get you where you're at now. If I gave myself advice back then, what would happen? You know? I mean, it's like, it could be better, could be worse. But I would probably, if I had to say anything, I'm relentless, and I would just remind myself of that.
Yeah. I
had one time something that changed everything. I met an author who did a few books. My dad met him. He was the guy who ran a horse ranch out here, and my parents are the best, because they will tell people all the time. And so if it comes up, you know, my dad brought it up with this guy, and he's like, oh, well, hey, you know, if like I've done a few things and seen a few people and blah, 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 and met these people, written these books, and never really, like, I can't say he went anywhere. I do know that he told me personally that people really did not like Tom Clancy, which I thought was like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, everyone thinks he's a dick, or was. But I'm like, okay, that's from writers' conferences. I always thought that was a fun little anecdote. But he told me after he read something that I did, that he's like, the day you stop treating this like a hobby is the day things will start happening for you. He goes, doesn't matter whether it's traditional publishing or not. He goes, the story he wrote, the story he read that I wrote was a short story. Similar, kind of goes in the vein of with Where the Children Don't Play. It had werewolves.
Yeah.
So there are werewolves in Where the Children Don't Play, everybody, if you like werewolves. Mine is Irish and hilarious and awesome. And you'll look forward to the Dracula scene talk. I've posted about it.
Okay.
I laughed on the road when I made it up. Anyways, Jim told me this. It was his name. Jim told me, it's like, they stop treating it like a hobby. You know, and so I would just tell myself to continue to be relentless.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if you mean it and you want it, you'll get it, and it'll come. And that's, you know, I don't let anything else bother me. I don't have imposter syndrome. I don't worry about whether my first draft is shit or not, because I know it's not. I don't fall into a lot of tropes that people talk themselves into because some big author has said something on the internet or in an interview. I just keep moving.
Yeah. That is great advice. Awesome. Well, it's been so nice to get to know you and to learn more about your history and why you write and what you're going to be writing in the future. I hope that everybody that watched this, whether it was the live version or the recorded version, is, if you're even just a tiny bit curious about the stories that this guy tells, you need to start them. You need to go read them. Go pre-order Where the Children Don't Play. It's excellent. A Dangerous Man is excellent. I'm sure the doc's going to be excellent. So I can't wait to probably have you on again when the doc is on its way out.
We can, yeah. I am planning on releasing that one. Okay, so here, I'll spill some tea. That one I am looking at splitting it into 3 books.
Oh, exciting.
Volumes for one story as a serial novel. Because it's chunky. It's like I said, if when I format it, I already anticipate it to be 500 pages. And so I'm looking at making it a serial novel to break up the monotony of it. And so I'm looking at, probably releasing it through September, October, and November, right before Christmas.
Awesome. Cool.
And so it'll be split up that way. I have to look at it again when I start editing it, see where I can do that if possible, and if not, I mean, it's going to be a brick. But I guarantee you'll feel like you threw it through a window to laugh when you're breaking a warehouse window as a kid, someplace abandoned next to the tracks. Like it goes by so fast. Tim can attest to it. I think part of the reason he started asking about how you write flashbacks is because I use them a lot in my writing, and I think that's probably the first thing he's read of mine, and I use them well in that book. It's one of my favorite things to use. I think if you do something well, people call it a stupid trope and they don't work, but you haven't read my book, and you should.
You should. I agree. But yeah, thank you again so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Of course. My pleasure. And yeah, again, links are in the description. Go check out these books because they're
also an ARC campaign I have on Booksprout. If you want to get at it, and if you're interested in leaving a review afterwards, you can. There'll be links for that on the campaign. I'm looking to get some of those going. So my launch is a little bit bigger this time. So
dope. I will add that.
You can look at it.
I'll add the link as soon as this finishes. I'll add the link underneath so you can go and sign up to the ARCs. But yeah, I'm gonna wave goodbye, and it was lovely to meet you properly. And I'll see you all later, possibly even on Friday for my interview with Steve Stark. Goodbye.
I'll have to work, and I hate that, because we didn't coordinate our images at all. And
it was so good.
I was like, she picked the first one because knowing Steve's coming on. Love Steve. Steve is awesome. We've done an interview together before and talked. I mean, it's just we just go on and on and on. And so that one's going to be amazing. Everyone should tune in on Friday to meet Steve Stark, the terror himself.
Noon CST or 6 p.m. if you're in England. But yeah. Goodbye, everybody. See you later.
Thank you, everyone.